Welcome back to Last Week, This Week, episode 17. I'm Ian Scott.
I'm Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we discuss nerd topics from the past week and this week. And we have a ton of news to go over with you today. A bunch of Star Wars news from Star Wars Celebration 2023. And we got to do a double header yesterday of movies. So we'll have a couple movie reviews of Air and Mario. Spoiler reviews. And we have a trailer of the Marvels and a review of The Mandalorian episode 7
at the end,
at the very end, right? But I think we're going to start off with the Star Wars Celebration because that was massive. It was like a 4-day event. I even still got Star Wars news this morning before the podcast. So
what was that?
I saw that basically they want to release the Rey movie before, like a year before the Mandalorian events movie.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, so you know, leading into that, Star Wars Celebration kicked off with a bunch of show news. So we got news that Andor season 2 is halfway through filming and that it will be released late summer 2024. We got news about The Acolyte. That's set in the High Republic, which was pitched apparently as a Frozen meets Kill Bill. And
yeah, that's
super odd, a weird combination of things.
I mean, the fact that is the pitch makes me excited because that's quite the pitch.
Well, The Acolyte to me is probably their most exciting show, at least for me personally.
Yeah.
Because apparently none of us got to see the first trailer except who was at Star Wars Celebration.
Wait, the trailer dropped?
Yeah, at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh.
And so apparently there was like a ton of martial arts and like lightsaber combat in it. And it's set in the High Republic. So I'm super excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm very excited too.
An original character, like a new story to be told in a new time period that the movies haven't seen yet.
It's based around the Sith.
Right, yeah. The Acolyte implies that I'm assuming it's maybe a Jedi kind of turning Sith, but I don't know.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It would not. But yeah, that's getting a release in 2024, and Rebecca Henderson will star as Vernestra Rowe. I don't know who that. I looked up the actress. I don't recognize her from anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, I think that one's been the thing that I'm most excited about them putting out.
Yeah. They got a new logo too.
Yeah, I saw that. That was interesting. It's like the O.
Yeah, it's got like a double O or something.
Like a double O, and there's like orange and blue. So I wonder what's up with that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason for it. But sometimes, Disney doesn't have a reason for their designs. You know, it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. They also showed a new poster for The Mandalorian, and they showed like the first 7 minutes of episode 7 at Celebration.
Oh, what was the poster?
The poster I can show you real quick. Yeah, it's a leaked image, but you know.
Let me see. Wait, is that better not? Oh, wait.
Isn't it Moth?
Is that supposed to be Peli with like a gun?
Peli,
like the from Tatooine, the mechanic.
Oh, is it really? Is she in it?
She's got a fucking gun. Look.
Yeah, she's in the poster.
That's
holy crap.
Wait, so Peli's gonna show up
in episode 8, maybe? Yeah.
I mean,
or maybe it's just a poster for like the entire season. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty dope poster.
Yeah.
Honestly. Maybe this season hasn't been like my favorite, but that's a dope poster.
Yeah, I mean, we'll speak a lot more Mandalorian later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we also got news on John Watt's Skeleton Crew. That's in post-production now and releasing this year. He apparently pitched the idea to Favreau following or I guess during the like production of No Way Home. But apparently this show is following a group of kids who go on an adventure throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's all we really know.
Yeah. Same time period as Mandalorian.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm the most excited about this one. It feels like, I guess, really out of the realm of Star Wars for me, because like I will say I would prefer like my Star Wars stories to deal with like the Sith and the Jedi and like the struggle of the Force, and like a kids on an adventure throughout the galaxy is a pretty lighthearted like story. I'm assuming.
Well, from what I've heard, like over the past several months to when it got announced, is that this is not going to be as lighthearted as it sounds.
Okay.
And I understand that there's a lot of Star Wars fans that really just want the Sith and Jedi, and I understand that. But I'm totally there. First of all, there's we don't know that that's not going to come up.
It could be, right. And I guess I should say that like I would also be very okay with like a Resistance versus the Empire story as well. Like those are stories I like in Star Wars, like with Rogue One, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I really liked Andor, and there's no lightsaber action in there.
Yeah.
And I think that this I'm very excited about it. Plus Jude Law is like in it, and I love Jude Law. So I'm pretty excited, and it's from John Watts, who's like
who I'm pretty happy with as a director.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I'm like that.
And
is
I'm
the reason,
assuming that those characters are gonna tie into this Mandalorian era, like and run into those characters.
It's gonna be interesting that like that's gonna be like the fourth pillar of this universe. You know, like you have the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and Ahsoka, and then Skeleton Crew, and you're like, oh okay, yeah, that could work.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: the Mandalorian wasn't like a big pillar until it became.
Well, I mean, the reason it's a big pillar is because it's where it started. You know,
right?
Sure, like, it's like the foundation.
But
of
now
this
it's
new
gone
universe.
to the point where like it's a big deal,
right?
So like, who's to say that Skeleton Crew can't turn out to be that?
I guess I'm thinking like, oh, what hooked us all from the start for Mandalorian was like, oh, this is like our kind of like replacement or fix for like not having a Boba Fett story, and you were giving us like a gritty like Western show, and now it's like that's not what the Mandalorian is, but like, and I guess I should say like Skeleton Crew doesn't resemble any of that either, so. You know, like, is it going to draw in audiences like The Mandalorian did? I don't know. But I guess if you have something cute like Grogu in there, then maybe.
I was going to say, the only reason that The Mandalorian is as popular as it is because of Grogu.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, if you disagree with that, that's, I mean, whatever.
Right. But it's just like there's so many non-Star Wars fans who watch The Mandalorian because of Grogu. It's just like,
yeah,
you can't debate that.
I still remember people who had never seen Star Wars started watching it because of that.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of, and I would argue that the only reason that Grogu is still in The Mandalorian is
because of that.
Because will anybody watch it if he's not in it?
Right. I mean, it like I guess I'll save that. But I was like, there's one scene from like the new episode that I was thinking like afterwards that was like, oh, that was for the Grogu fans. Like that was just like to appease people who like come for Grogu, which was like him dealing with the food.
Really?
At the concession stand. It was just such a dumb like slice of life scene.
Sure.
I was just like, oh, okay, this is just a Grogu like fan scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, so besides John Watts Skeleton Crew, we also got a bunch of news on Ahsoka. They got a poster that released for it. They announced that it releases in August, and we got first looks at the characters Sabine, Hera, Mon Mothma, and Thrawn. We got also news that Lars Mikkelsen is returning as Thrawn.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, he voiced Thrawn in Rebels, which was an animated show, and now he's going to be the live action version of that.
Yeah, and I'm like, even though I didn't watch Rebels, like I'm pretty happy that Lars is like continuing to play him because I think the look like that he has is somewhat similar.
Yeah. Right.
And I think like if you want the same like menacing villain, then get the same voice actor.
Yeah. I think he'll do great. I've seen like a leaked image and He looks cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen like an official like face image. I think all we saw from the trailer was like the back of his head.
Yeah. But there's like a leaked image, I think, that was going around.
Nice.
And he looks just like him. And
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I think are we gonna talk about the trailer right now? Or
sure, we can, yeah.
Yeah, like I thought that everything with Boba Fett was gonna be dope, and it turned out to not be.
Right.
And same thing with Obi-Wan. But I mean, this trailer was really dope and really cool.
Yeah,
and
it was.
I'm way more excited for it now than I was before, because before I was like, yeah, an Ahsoka show, it'll be, I'll be interested.
Right.
Now I'm much more interested, and I don't know if that's because the way that it was presented was like this really badass, well put together, little
trailer.
like 2-minute trailer where I get to see Ahsoka with lightsabers and other Sith, and they're talking about Thrawn, and they have these live action Rebel characters finally come in.
I guess I would say it could have easily gone the other way for you, because I saw a ton of people just like who are Rebels fans and like Star Wars fans say they just felt nothing watching that trailer. Like they're just not interested because of like the current state of Star Wars,
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them either. I mean, I'm excited, but I'm not gonna have super high hopes about it, because who knows how it's gonna turn out.
Right. Like I can't have like high hopes for any of these shows at this point. Like I just have to be like, okay, this could be good, and I have to go in with low expectations, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but
it is unfortunate, but I think it'll be cool to get what they're obviously going for, which is like Thrawn is gonna be the big bad,
big heir to the Empire is what they even said in the announcement, I think.
Which like if nobody knows, like the original, like there was a Thrawn trilogy that's not canon anymore that came out, which was the Heir to the Empire series, and
right.
So it was a little bit of like, do you like that? You like that little
so
which was a little weird thing. It's just and it was fun. It was nice, but it was like a weird thing to say, like the heir, he's come back as the heir to the Empire, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, that's fair, right? Would anyone actually say that, right? But
being a little overly dramatic.
No, I think people are also like assuming that they'll adapt the book, maybe, but I could see them doing it at all.
From what I understand, like he's a completely different character from
the books. Okay, so probably not. Okay,
I think it was just a little like
little
nice
nod.
Like, we know,
Yeah.
So,
So also, Kevin Kiner, who did the score on Rebels, is returning to score Ahsoka. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
if you like the vibe of Rebels.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Rebels again, and it's, I mean, to be fair, like, I mean, the sound, like the soundtrack's nice, but I'm not like, oh, cool,
right?
But
it's not John Williams, right? Yeah,
sure. I mean, I'm sure, like, how I'm hoping that the story, whatever it turns out to be, is more Ahsoka based, because
it should be. I mean,
it's called Ahsoka.
It's called Ahsoka.
But like, as we've seen with all these other Star Wars shows, like it can very easily not become that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's called Ahsoka because it is about Ahsoka, and it not be called like just Rebels or some other thing.
Agreed.
I don't want that.
Last piece of news for Ahsoka is that they recreated the Rebels finale for the beginning of Ahsoka.
Huh.
So you're gonna get to see that full in live action.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, I haven't seen it, obviously, but and then on to the movies here. We got a lot of information on the movies. Basically, I'll say first they showcased what eras we would be seeing future movies in, and that so we'll start with the Dawn of the Jedi, then to the Old Republic, the High Republic, the Fall of the Jedi, the Rise of the Empire, the Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, and then Rise of the First Order. So, and I will say, based on this like graphic they showed, they didn't like originally have the like the Dawn of the Jedi in this graphic, and they also don't have like where Rey's movie set, which I will get to, but so
Well,
I'm just saying like it's like not all future Star Wars projects are going to be in these 7 periods of Star Wars, because 2 of the movies they announced here are not in these periods. So with the first movie being announced, they announced Dave Filoni will direct a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And that it'll be culminating the events of the Mandoverse.
Now, how do you feel about that?
I don't feel excited about it. And like it has to be at least 5 years away. Like, to me, I think you have to have maybe a couple more seasons of Mandalorian, maybe another season of Ahsoka, maybe another season of Boba Fett if they do that.
I want to agree with you, but I could also say like, yeah. I mean, it like they didn't really clarify. And here's the thing: I also like just because she announced, like Kathleen Kennedy announced that all these movies are going to happen. For the past like.
Right. It doesn't mean it's going to.
Years and years and years, there's been like multiple, like whenever a Star Wars, even recently, like the Dave Filoni one, I believe was gonna be with David Lindelof. Like,
oh, was it?
And he like, and they exited. So like,
okay,
it's just, and I think it's interesting also that like they announced this movie, but like weeks ago there was a Jon Favreau interview where he's the co-creator of Mandalorian, and he said like, I don't think that there's like we're gonna do a movie.
Interesting. So yeah,
so it's
maybe he's just misleading people, but
I don't know, or there's not a whole lot of communication going on over there at
which
Lucasfilm.
Wouldn't surprise me. Right.
So I want to agree with you that it could like be like 5 years away, but I mean, if they really like, they said that the Rey one, which we'll get to, be the first one back, right? I think.
So it maybe, because they said they wanted that to come out a year before the Mandalorian movie.
Okay, so let's say they get going with that right now. I mean, if they got going with it, they could put it out by like 2020. They could even do like a 2025 if they really wanted to.
If they rushed it, right?
I mean, but like, yeah, maybe 2026, 2027, it could come out. I mean, it's just, we'll definitely get another season of Mandalorian.
For sure.
I don't know about anything more with Ahsoka.
Or Boba Fett.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do anything with Boba Fett.
It almost sounds like they've just fully, like, all right, that happened and we're just going to move on, Because there was no mention of Boba Fett at Star Wars Celebration.
Right.
Not even the actor came out, I think. So
I mean,
I don't know.
Could
that
it
was
be,
last year.
Could it be 5 years? It could be. I don't know how to feel about all of it. First of all, I think Dave Filoni's getting better as a director, because his first time directing, I didn't really like that first time he directed it. But
I have to see that episode, but yeah.
But then the next episode, it was a greater improvement.
Nice.
But
yeah, to be given a whole movie,
the idea of like
crazy.
Of a culmination of all these storylines that are going with starting off with Mandalorian and Ahsoka and
Boba Fett,
probably Skeleton Crew,
right?
To it all, I think, culminate in these TV characters to culminate into a movie, is. I mean, like they did it with like the X-Files, and they've done it with other. I don't think it ever turns out as successful as people want it to be.
I think they're like wanting an Avengers type movie from this, where like we built up these characters, now they're all going to come together and team up. But I don't know. It's just it feels forced. Like none of these characters have to tie in together.
Yeah, no, they definitely they're definitely trying to have. I mean, and to be honest, through seasons 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, they were,
Yeah.
doing it fairly well.
Yeah, I think it worked for seasons 1 and 2.
But I just think that the idea of tying it all up in a movie is just a bit odd.
Yeah. Well,
and also it feels like like part of me is like, it's nice that they have an end in sight. They have a concise story that they know where they want it to end. But another part of me is like, I feel like The Mandalorian is something that we could follow for like quite a long time. And this is something that they would want to continue for a while because it's been so popular and there's so many things to explore. But
so if the movie comes out, then that just ends the show.
Exactly. I mean, it's gonna, and I just, for me, I thought there was gonna be a lot more of this time period of Star Wars to explore.
Agreed.
And I feel like now it's becoming like The Mandalorian has become something that at first I was excited because it was a Western.
Yeah.
And I liked that there was this Imperial remnant thread, but now it's become like a huge part of the show, which is cool in some ways, but it's like now we've gotten to a point where like, so the big thing with all of this is we're gonna get to Thrawn. He's gonna be the big bad of that movie, most likely.
Yeah.
And so whatever happens,
I guess,
then gets us into how the First Order came about.
If that's the case, and they just kind of like throw Moff Gideon to the side, I won't like that because they never really gave him any like true character development. He was just like this this this
but I
Sith
think
villain, or
I think
not
like
even Sith, but
I think with Mandalorian and like old Westerns, like he kind of is just playing that like, because we'll get to it, but like he just shows up at the end of every season like as this big bad, and
he really does.
It's a very predictable thing, which is fine. But he is not. He may have a bigger role in like doing something with Thrawn, but he's not. I don't think he's gonna be like the big bad at all.
Yeah, I think Thrawn will be. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. It's fine.
It's fine at best.
I didn't really see it coming.
No, I didn't. Especially as like one of the main 3 movies they're like looking to put out soon.
Yeah, and also here's the thing. I mean, it depends on what the script is, but that's all these TV seasons and episodes and storylines that you're gonna have a movie. Like are people gonna watch it and know what's going on?
Right, that's a lot of shows that you're counting on people to watch when like some people are only watching The Mandalorian.
I mean, like if people might hear that it's a Star Wars. I don't know. It's just like.
Yeah. Like they got to be real careful with it. Yeah.
I don't know.
The next movie they announced was the James Mangold movie where he's writing and directing, and basically it's described as a biblical epic.
Yeah.
About the first Jedi set 25,000 years ago in the Dawn of the Jedi period. Now, I think this is a better route than the Dave Filoni movie. I also am not the most excited for this one.
Why is that?
And for me, it's just like, do we need every like piece of lore explained or showed to us? Like do I need the like the discovery of the Force and the to see the first Jedi? I don't. And so like maybe I'll go see this movie and it'll be like a nice surprise, but it's just like I'm not excited for that. And I think I may be curious at anything, but I don't know. Like, what about you?
I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me hopeful though is that it is James Mangold, because he's a great director.
He is a great director,
and he's been wanting to do a Star Wars movie for a while now.
Yeah. So I'm glad he's getting to do one.
And this is from he just made the newest Indiana Jones movie, which is under Lucasfilm as well,
right.
And they know that he probably did a good job, because I don't know if they would have wanted him again if they didn't think he did a good job.
That's fair. That makes me excited then about Indiana Jones 5. But,
right.
Yeah.
So but I'm on the same page. what did we talk about? We talked about like with John Wick, where like I don't even know if I want to see the high table because
because like, do we need everything shown to us?
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like
just keep some mystery.
The Force is like, it's the Force.
You don't need that.
We don't need
we've already had it explained throughout like episodes 1 through 9.
Right.
And that's enough.
So now, is there a way to still make the Force mysterious?
Right.
Like, I could maybe see it in the way where somebody's like had this thing happen. Like, what the fuck? Like, how did I do that? And like, now I don't want them to go in the route of like, you have a high midichlorian count. Like, I don't.
Well, I mean, I don't think they wouldn't be able to measure the midichlorian count.
Sure.
25,000 years ago.
I just fucking hate the midichlorians.
I did too when I first saw episode 1, but I've fully come around on that. So,
but I agree. Like, it's cool to like just have this thing that's been existing for forever,
right?
Or maybe not forever, but like
for thousands of years. And
I'm curious. Like, I'm sure we'll get the first lightsaber, but
maybe,
like,
probably.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm hopeful that it's really great, but I'm worried that it's just going to make this big myth or this big just huge thing in the universe. Like, now it's been explained, and is it as fun,
right, as like the other movies, or is it even needed? Right. Yeah. So
and also, like, isn't it in like every in the Skywalker series, like, as the years go on, the Force like evolves. Like, we would probably be seeing.
Is that the case?
Well, because like, from what I mean,
from what you understand, right?
From like the sequel trilogy, like, Rey started to like be able to do, and I know like there's like we're a dyad in the Force, but like it's like she started to be able to do these certain things. And,
so you're talking about like episode 9, Rey?
Yeah, like, and then like Ben's able to like heal, and
okay, we can just not talk about episode 9.
No,
okay?
I agree, but like I think like even with like other things, like Luke was able to like force project and like that far away.
Sure, but that is something that that Rian Johnson pulled from Star Wars lore. It wasn't like something new he made up for like Star Wars, like Force evolving. I thought
I heard like in one of the movies, like the Force just keeps like changing.
Yeah, I mean, that
and
would
new
be,
things that keep like.
That would be like the explanation for why she can like force heal and like. And why they can split up their life force or whatever. But yeah, sure.
But I don't know. What I was going to say is like, maybe the Force will be just very rudimentary at that point.
Just super basic and
so,
right. It could be. Yeah.
I mean, if you're calling it a biblical epic, like, I could see.
Well, yeah, because he's almost
flashy.
Like the first Jedi would literally be founding like a religion.
Yeah, and I think that'll be cool too. Like, I could see like somebody being like, you need to use this in this sort of way,
right.
And like somebody that they are close to or are look up to, like guides them and like. But I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Yeah. Like, we're gonna be witnessing somebody start a religion.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be so bizarre, right?
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The last movie, which I will say, spoiler alert, I am least excited for, is from Shireen Obayed Chinoy, and it will follow Rey 15 years after Episode 9, establishing a new Jedi Order.
Yeah. So, and then if anybody doesn't know, that director, she's done like a lot of documentaries that are like also, Oscar nominated at least. I don't know if they won, and then also Miss Marvel episodes. Right.
So yeah, I mean, I've only seen her direct Miss Marvel episodes,
right?
But so I'm not even like looking at the director here.
Sure.
I'm shocked. First of all, that we're getting a movie following the sequel trilogy. Yeah. I did not think that was ever going to happen.
No.
And for Rey to be at the center of it, I'm also surprised.
Yeah.
I can't say I want any of that, considering how much I dislike episode 9 and how much I dislike how Rey's arc went throughout that. So unless they decide to, make some things uncanon or, decanon some things, then I'm not excited for this at all.
Yeah. First of all, here's the thing. I'll get to like why I also don't think this is a great idea, but like in Star Wars canon, like wasn't a lot of the sequel trilogy like, and even with Luke at the end with episode 9 and 8, like all about like the old ways need to die.
Yeah. Yep.
And now, like, where we've literally burned the last of the Jedi texts, and Rey's like, I have to do this own thing. I have to create my own thing.
Yeah.
And so now she wants to start a new Jedi Order. Like,
unless she,
this feels like
she better call it something other than the Jedi. Like it better be something new. I mean, maybe.
But like, it almost feels like now we've gotten, like, she's taking the place of Luke at the end of his, like, at the end of episode 6. And now we'll get to something that what the sequel trilogy should have been. But I think we're doing it with a lesser character.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I liked Rey when she was first introduced. I liked the idea of her.
I liked Rey, and like you said, when she was first introduced, and I loved how they built her up in episode 8 as a nobody.
Yes.
And then they just destroyed that.
Yes. Yeah. So there were so many good, cool things about her character that was completely just everything that made her cool was immediately ripped out in episode 9 by learning that she's Palpatine's daughter? No, granddaughter.
Yeah, I mean, basically how they didn't even explain it in the movies this way, but like apparently later on they I guess showed that he had a clone and that's who had Rey, was like one of his clones. Right.
That's even grosser.
Yeah.
But yeah, but so to move on from that, of why I think just even in the built-in canon that's stupid. The sequel trilogies, no matter if you like them or if you don't like them, are extremely divisive. And to bring back
the main
I think
character.
Daisy Ridley's, I like her.
I do too. Yeah.
To bring back like the lead character of that is just, I'm kind of like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And if there was a character that they should bring back to do something and they would be cool with, would have been Finn.
Okay. Yeah, I figured, but I just don't think the actor wants to come back to Star Wars.
No. I don't think so either.
Okay.
But like that he deserved, like
I mean, the way
everybody would have been like, if you would have given him like a proper story and not like completely fuck his character over, like, because he was the most interesting character out of all of them in like The Force Awakens. And
I mean, he had a really great arc going, and I would say though the same for like almost everyone in episode 9. Like I think if you wanted to expand on like on Poe or Finn or Rose, like all three of those characters got majorly sidelined for episode 9. And
I would say Poe was kind of going in the direction. I feel like Poe is the character that got the most like
he had
satisfying arc, because like
what was his arc though in episode 9?
His arc, like to become the leader, to become like the like
like the leader of the resistance or something.
To step into a leadership role.
Sure.
Not be just like
Finn and Rose though. I mean, damn, those two characters.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. So I'm just surprised that they're going this way, because it's really divisive, and I don't know. Like but like it's basically an episode 10. Like that's what this is. And well, I hope not.
No,
because they said that it was the end, but obviously now it's not.
It's not, because we have another movie set after it with the main character of the sequel trilogy. So I don't know. It's It's
maybe it won't
weird.
follow. Like, considering she's not a Skywalker technically, like,
but she is at the end of episode 9.
but like, but since we don't have like the Skywalker lineage,
you're saying like it won't be looked at as an episode 10.
If it is episode 10, I will be.
Oh no, I don't think they're gonna title it episode 10. But yeah. I think that would be, if they did that. Whew, that would be rough. That would be rough.
I'm not excited.
Besides the movies here, I guess dealing with them too, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that the opening slow text crawl for Star Wars movies is returning after they had said it was not returning.
She specifically was saying that if it's not a part of the Skywalker
right, which
like
was
saga, it won't be in it. So we didn't have it for Rogue One. We didn't have it for Solo.
Right, which was brilliant. I think like, yeah, keep it special for the main Skywalker saga. But I think they're so desperate to make things feel like Star Wars at this point that they're like, oh yeah, this is a good move, you know.
Here I'm on the opposite side of that.
Okay.
I got used to the fact that like we weren't gonna have it. Okay. Fine. Keep it that way.
Okay.
Don't just change it again.
Right.
Because I'm of the opinion of the text crawl is what gets you into the mood. Like that's what gets you into it. And like it sure, like you could say like it's what, but like I remember the first time I saw Rogue One, I missed it. Like I missed the crawl. Like you're watching a Star Wars, something with Star Wars, you want the crawl. And so it's a little upsetting that they are saying like, oh, no, we're going to do it now.
I guess to be fair, they only put out 2 movies, you know, like.
I know, but it's
not like a long track record they're going against at this point.
But they said that that's what they were going to do, and now they've changed it. And it's a little upsetting because I really would have liked crawls for those movies. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if I'm not going to get them, fine. That we're just going to get them for the main. And now they changed their mind again. Right. So that's just frustrating because.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like now it's like, well, again, it feels like there's so much disorder over there that I'm just like, okay, well,
I guess this is happening.
I'll watch something when I do and hope I like it. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of little other things in Star Wars Celebration that we could go over, but we wanted to bring back our hypotheticals segment today. Yeah. And Zach has a hypothetical.
Yeah, so my hypothetical is, which I thought of this before all this stuff came out, but was if you were in charge of Lucasfilm, what would be the movie that you greenlight for the next movie to come out?
Yeah.
So Ian, what did you?
Like I said, I want new stories and new characters to come out of Star Wars at this point. So if this isn't like a super well thought out idea, but I'm a huge fan of like the lore of Coruscant, and I would love a movie where we kind of like deal with both like a crime syndicate, like in the under levels, like the lower levels of Coruscant, and like there's some like force sensitive kid at the heart of it, like in this criminal ring, and like there's a Jedi who has to go and investigate this criminal ring, and like he's like so being a cyberpunk like Star Wars, but like I guess I'm imagining this movie where like this kid is like
it's the broom kid.
Kind of. I mean, I guess I'm almost looking at it as like an episode 1 type of story where like
sure, yeah,
right. And so
which is cool.
I like that story.
That story is just the execution.
Right. But I think I love the idea of like the massive world of Star Wars being this like mystery or like this myth to a kid who's spent like his entire time like living in the lower levels of Coruscant, and then like the end of the movie we finally like escape this hellhole he's been in, and it like shoots out into space, and it's just I think that would be a pretty beautiful moment for like a force sensitive kid who like wants to be a Jedi once more.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
then and then we could get more Coruscant lore and like lower levels of Coruscant. So
that feels like a pretty like traditional. I mean, I feel like that goes back just to like the original Star Wars thing, where it's like this kid's in the middle of nowhere. This kid would be like in the depths of like in the
like
city,
the
like,
biggest planet city, right?
You know, it's like almost like a getting out of like the hood or something.
Kinda,
like that's really dope. Actually,
cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
would this be like during what time period?
I would have it set kind of how they like describe the Acolyte. I would probably like near the end of the High Republic, or like in between the High Republic and Fall of the Jedi.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The other one I had thought of, which I think I would like to see it because I think it would flesh out this character really well. But like basically, I saw somebody say that by the time of Rey's movie, like the 15 years after, Grogu would be 91. And Yoda was a Jedi Master by 100. So I think that would be kind of amazing to see, maybe like a close to Master Grogu wielding both like a lightsaber and like a Mandalorian helmet. Like I just want to see like that character grow up and be his own main character.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess a Grogu movie when he's like much older would be my second choice.
I would like that too, but I would like that like 20 years from now.
Okay. Interesting.
You know?
Yeah. When like all of this is gone. And we just have like
a long time from now.
I could be down for that. Yeah.
So, and for me, like I don't have anything that's particularly as maybe well thought out as that, but I am a big fan of the time period that the Mandalorian's taking place in, and between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And I think what I would just want is I don't want stories that tie into like a Han Solo or like any of characters that we know.
Right.
I just want like a good, cool story dealing with like rebels and Imperials. And if you want to throw like a Jedi, like a Cal Kestis in there.
I was just going to say, I was like, well, like Jedi Fallen Order is like that perfect like new story in that time period. You know? So
like, I would love that. I would love anything with that.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, then I would definitely, I think that there's like a lot of cool stories to tell. Like especially after watching Tales of the Jedi, everything that was with like a younger Count Dooku and a younger Qui-Gon Jinn, like.
So you would want those stories, like dealing with younger versions of those characters?
You know, maybe.
Yeah, because like that was my thought, and like, you know, like when I was saying like I don't need like a like for us to see the beginning of the Jedi. Like I guess I'm more in the line of like, well, I don't need to see like the beginning of Mace Windu. I don't need to see like the beginning of Qui-Gon Jinn.
I don't. But stories similar to like there's this one particular one and where like it's Count Dooku and a young Qui-Gon, and they're like, it's like it was like a true detective style. They were investigating this thing, and I was like,
that's cool. Yeah,
I could do something with that.
I guess whenever I hear detectives, I'm just like, yeah, that's it.
Like
that's
a true detective Jedi story. That would be cool. Because back when the Order, like before the Clone Wars and everything, or even during it, maybe.
I feel like I had the exact same reaction to like the Green Lantern show.
Yeah,
and I was like, ooh, detectives.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. Yeah. No, that would be really cool. I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. I mean, that was our hypothetical question this week.
Yep.
Maybe if in the comments you have an idea yourself, you wanna show us or tell us, leave a comment.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So we're gonna move on to probably 2 pretty quick reviews of the movies that we saw. First one, which I think, at least for me, I enjoyed more.
Yes,
was Air.
Yep.
If anybody doesn't know, Air is the story about the Nike basketball division and them building basically their most popular shoe line, the Air Jordan, around Michael Jordan, and how that all came to be. And it's directed by Ben Affleck, and he's in it, and Matt Damon stars.
Matt Damon and Chris Tucker and Jason Bateman.
And it was like, if you like movies where, you know, the end title scenes is like, it's
and
like
this character did this 50 years from now.
Yeah. It's pretty much one of them.
Right.
So
but, yeah, I mean, and if you like biopic kind of movies, like about like music artists, I feel like this is kind of in the same line. Yeah. But yeah, I
very
thought,
like Social Network sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an even better comparison. But yeah, I thought this movie was done so well. Like, I feel like on almost all counts, like there was only like a few little like nitpicks I think I have, but I think the comedy, like obviously it's not a comedy like Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm not like laughing at my ass like of the seat here, but like I think it was funny and it like really worked. I think the dynamics between like Phil Knight and Sonny Vaccaro like worked really well, and that's just because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are probably so in tune with each other.
But even Matt Damon's character and Jason Bateman's was really surprising.
Or even him and Chris Tucker,
Oh, like, yeah. I mean, I was surprised with I was really surprised with how much emotional depth they gave Jason Bateman's character with his daughter.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was like that gave like the way that they introduced that into the story.
It was supernatural.
Yeah, it was natural, but it made you think differently, like, because Damon's character is just like, I need to do this thing.
Right.
It's going
to kill me if I don't do it.
And I don't, like, I'm not thinking about other people. And then you are like, oh, this has real consequences.
Yeah. No, that was a really beautiful scene. I mean, there was quite a few scenes that Matt Damon had that was like, I wouldn't say that kind of emotion, but it was like he had like long scenes of dialogue where he was like fighting to get like someone to say yes to his idea, or like to get a meeting with Michael Jordan. And like he had one with Phil Knight and one with Jason Bateman's character. And it was just like every time he would do it. And like, and he had one at the very end when he was speaking directly to Michael Jordan. Like every time he would have a great like scene of dialogue, and it was heavy. It worked really well.
Yeah. I don't know if Ben wrote the script, but whoever wrote the speeches for Damon I mean, they were
really good.
Yeah. And I think it was important early on to show that he would go to Vegas a lot and bet. Because he's like a gambler.
He's a gambler. This is the biggest gamble of his life. Right.
And I think it was important to see that like he wasn't winning the bets.
Yeah. Right. Well, because it's even a good bettor doesn't win every bet. So,
no, I know, but like the fact that like it was at least introduced to me that like he likes to gamble, but like has he been
successful?
Has he been successful?
Yeah.
Or at least successful lately.
Right.
And
that didn't seem like a happen.
So this seems like, oh, this guy like thinks this thing's gonna happen, and he's really just losing his mind.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good way to be like, obviously we knew how the story turned out. So I wasn't like, that wasn't in my mind that he was like, well, this might be some crap gamble. But
yeah, I will like, if this was any other movie where like I didn't know the outcome.
Right.
The suspense would be killing me. Like absolutely killing
truly,
me.
Yeah. I guess that was a part of it too. That it was just such a nice ride because you knew, I guess the stress of the ending wasn't like so on your mind the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because this was set in like 1984, the movie, I feel like some movies play into the time period too much, but this movie, I don't think
it felt pretty subtle with it.
They were.
I mean, the only thing that wasn't subtle was the soundtrack. And
I love the soundtrack.
But the soundtrack was amazing. So I have no complaints with the soundtrack.
Yeah. I will like they played a lot of music.
Yeah.
Maybe
a lot.
Too much.
Too much, I agree. Yeah.
But everything about it, like they didn't like do anything that was like, whoa, like that's such an 80s thing. I mean, maybe with like the clothes that Phil wears or like the car he drives, but that was about it.
That was more, I feel like, just they were symbolizing him. Like that wasn't like a factor of the 80s. That was just like a factor of it being Phil Knight, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
It's just like everything else was like, it looked 80s, but it wasn't like so
super 80s, right?
Yeah,
in your face.
it looked like this weird, because I mean, I didn't live through that time, but like it had like these like quirky, bright colors at times, and yet like a lot of people were wearing very like dull-ish clothes, or at least like in the Nike headquarters, like it was.
I mean, and you would expect to see duller clothes in a business.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe.
No, I agree.
It was like, I don't know. It felt. Yeah, I don't know.
It worked.
I don't know what I'm saying. It was nice though. It felt like it was a real time.
Yeah, and I guess like the last thing I'll say, like two last things I'll say on it is that you really felt the entire movie that it was this fight for Matt Damon or Sonny Vaccaro to get a meeting with Michael Jordan to convince everyone around him that this was a good idea. And I loved feeling that, like that we were in like the trenches with him. I think my one kind of complaint is that the like not having an actor for Michael Jordan got a little awkward at points for me. Like it just felt obvious that they were trying to avoid him. And I think it might have helped if like there was somebody maybe speaking in that role. But I understand it's hard to cast somebody in that role. I get it.
Yeah. I think there was times where it would have been nice, but to be honest, the way that they did it, I liked it.
Yeah.
And like the way that he was like, most of the time it was him showing like he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to take the meeting. He didn't want to talk.
Sure.
It all
worked.
played into it.
Right.
And it worked for me. I also love the color grading of the movie. Very blue, but like slightly blue. It was very nice. It was very cool to like the intro where it was like all these like 80s pop culture moments that was obviously on like VHS and old looking, and they would cut it in where it would look like similar footage of like the Nike office and the characters and the actors. And then you get to the basketball, like the high school basketball thing that Matt Damon's at, and they slowly through cuts like get it to be a bit more like higher quality like movie,
right?
But like,
and that was a good. But
with the color grading that they chose, like it all fit this like time period.
I'll have to watch that intro again.
Yeah.
Really well done movie though.
Yeah, really good. One of my more favorite ones that Ben's done in a while.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
Nice. I'd say one of my favorites of this year.
Definitely one of the favorites of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then after that, yesterday we sat down for the Mario movie, a complete change.
Very different movie from Air.
Yeah, but that was a fun movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't go into it expecting myself to be like super happy with it, I guess. But for at least half of it, I was having like a really good amount of time watching this movie.
Yeah, I don't. This feels very weird for me because like I was very excited to see this movie. I don't want to be a buzzkill because I know people are going to be like, it's fucking nostalgic. Like it's a kid's movie. Just have fun with it. And I did at points. I guess I maybe would have preferred having lesser hopes for it because it seems like all of you, like all of our friends were like, no, I had a fun time.
Right.
And I did have fun at points. I guess the points where I really digged it was like when you were having Jack Black be Bowser.
Yeah.
That was
I would say
amazing.
like 95% of Bowser's scenes were like really funny.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah.
Leaning into like Donkey Kong stuff. I feel like, was he a little one note?
Yeah.
But it worked. Peach, even though maybe like she didn't have a whole lot to do other than just be badass.
Right. And show Mario the world that she's been living in.
the world.
Right.
But like when we got to Mario, I cared about how Luigi felt about Mario.
Right.
And kind of how Mario feels about Luigi. But I didn't really enjoy following Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't think that his interactions were, I don't know. I didn't enjoy seeing like the times where we were going back to the main plot. I was like, some of this is fun.
Right.
And I like, being able to see like I like all the callbacks and the references that are, and there's a shit ton of them in the movie.
There is a lot. Yeah. And they're all done really well,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. Like I completely agree with you. I think like all the Bowser stuff, like I said, was amazing. And then you would cut back to the Mario, like the main character of the movie, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm watching a movie. Like I'm having an okay time.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that was like really wonderful watching like that part of the movie was just all the like, basically his part of the story. It felt like it was to showcase all the different types of games they're trying to reference. Like you had the Donkey Kong scene, and then you also had the Mario Kart racing.
Yeah.
And so like those were great set pieces to watch. And the movie was beautiful to like look at the entire time. But yeah, like, it just felt lackluster when you would switch back and forth between Mario and Bowser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was fine. I'm just coming from the place of like, I thought I was going to have more fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like I was excited about it and I thought there was going to be more to it.
Right.
But there really wasn't. And that's, that's fine. I mean, I did like stuff with him and Luigi.
I mean, like, there was darker humor than I expected too.
Oh yeah. Like there's a star that's held
like Super Mario
prisoner
Galaxy.
and it's, I mean,
every line
that is hilarious
from that star is dark, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, we're doing this.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I will say, one spoiler for sure is the ending where like, Mario and Luigi are supposed to save Brooklyn, and that was like the whole way that they got into this world. But then they kind of, it's just like, it's fine.
Right.
It's a movie. It's whatever. Yeah. They've done it a million times before, but it's so funny to me when they're like, they brought huge amounts of destruction into Brooklyn.
Huge.
Just to
well, his goal
finish
was,
it and clean it up.
Well, I mean, his goal
and then
was
everyone's
to save
like,
Luigi.
You saved Brooklyn. It's like, you caused huge amount of property damage.
Hey, they don't know that Mario was gone this whole time, and they don't know that he brought in the Bowser. They're just like, hey, you did that.
Yeah, I guess they'll just, but are they going to keep that a secret their whole?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
so they'll probably
saved
be like,
us from blah blah blah.
Wait, you saved us from yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's whatever.
No, yeah, I mean, it was a fun, cute kids movie. And I think it, like, as a Mario movie, it works.
Though, to be honest, I know that there were kids in the theater, and I didn't hear them like.
I didn't hear any kid laughs.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of adult laughs.
Yeah, I heard a lot of adult laughs.
Besides the movie reviews here, we have a little trailer from the MCU again. We have the Marvels that just dropped. Very exciting trailer, I'll say.
Very. I know that I know this is weird to say, but like, not the tone that I thought this movie was gonna be.
What did you think that was gonna be?
I just thought that it would be more in line with the Captain Marvel,
like the first movie.
Okay. Yes, and I thought it'd be more epic and
Okay.
not as much like fun and I don't. You know,
I feel
just,
like because Kamala Khan is there, like you kind of have to make it a little more fun, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be so lighthearted.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
And
yeah.
and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because this feels more like Miss Marvel than it does Captain Marvel. And I love Miss
it
Marvel.
really does.
So this is a good thing for me.
I would also say it doesn't really feel like Captain Marvel 2 at all. Like
no.
I feel like Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan are more main characters than even Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is.
At least that's
Carol Danvers.
Yeah, at least that's the way that the trailer is kind of portraying it.
Because I feel like we got to see like a lot of both Monica Rambeau and like Kamala Khan and like both their elements. Like she was up in space, Kamala Khan was down on Earth, and we never got to see like where Carol Danvers was at. You know,
well,
like yes, Kamala Khan teleported like once, like to her, I guess, or maybe twice, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess we can see later, because this is just a teaser about like how all of that's gonna shake out. But yeah, so they have like Beastie Boys Intergalactic playing. So obviously we're getting space stuff. We're getting like Kree.
Yeah, I mean,
fighting
with both of like both Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau in space. Like we're gonna get a lot of space, I think.
Yeah, and which
is cool. I'm
cool with that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was watching the trailer, so now we know that like the thing that Nick Fury's on is now called a like Saber.
It's called Saber, and maybe it was always called Saber because we never got that space station title as Sword.
No, but now we have like Saber, and then we also have Sword. So it'll be interesting if they like clarify what the two do.
They better clarify, because I do think it's important. Like I feel like SHIELD was like a massive part of the MCU at one point.
Yeah,
and I feel like another organization should be at the heart of it. And I think Sword was set up really well where like Monica Rambeau's mom, I can't remember her first name, but she was like the founder of Sword. And now you have Monica Rambeau, like she's working with Saber now at their space station. Why isn't she working for Sword? I'd like that. I would like that answered, I guess. And
yeah.
I think I looked it up this morning. I don't know if you knew this, but Saber isn't in the MCU comics at all. Like this is a brand new thing that the MCU has made up.
Okay.
So I have no idea what to expect from Saber. Maybe that's why they've gone this route, because it's new. But
I also wasn't expecting so much Nick Fury.
I think that's nice though.
But I like it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't.
It's the year of Nick Fury for Marvel.
Sure. And I'm wondering if they put it out this, you know, because it's 7 months until the movie comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the reason that this movie or like this trailer came out is because maybe to figure out some timeline things with the Secret Invasion show.
Yeah, because this would
take
place.
Does he look like he's...
He looks younger.
Does he look younger?
Doesn't he?
He doesn't. He's got the eye patch.
Boy, I gotta look at it. Do you mind if I look real quick? Yeah, cool.
Sure.
I have to know.
But like he does have the eye patch, and
and he doesn't have it in Secret Invasion.
He doesn't. So I'm wondering if this takes place after Secret Invasion. I'm assuming it's either before or after. I mean, but
yeah, but it's just that's like Marvel has rarely done that where they set things like, you know, before a certain movie. Like they did it once with Black Widow. They did it once before that with Guardians 2. So
I'm just saying, like,
I don't know.
I'm gonna call it that Nick Fury does not die in Secret Invasion, because it would be very weird to have him die in a TV show and then pop up in a movie, and we're like, oh, so I'm gonna assume that he turns out okay.
I mean, that's fair. I think. I feel like it's ballsy for Marvel to kill off any of their main characters at this point, but yeah, I think. Yeah, if Nick Fury is going to be in the Marvels, I don't see him dying in Secret Invasion.
No, and I think that whatever happens in Secret Invasion will probably tie into whatever's happening in this movie.
Yeah, I think his beard, I think, is like crazy different.
I think it is.
Yeah.
He might be older. I think it's more gray now.
In the Nick Fury, like the
in the Marvels.
Right. I would say he looks older in Secret Invasion than he does in the Marvels.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he turns into a Skrull. I don't know.
Maybe this is Skrull version of Nick Fury in the Marvels.
Could be Talos. Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, but he does have a gray beard in the Marvels. But haven't we
done that enough?
Yeah, sure. I agree. We did it in Far From Home.
Yeah.
We don't need it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious to see where it's set, what Saber is about, why the entanglement's happening.
Yeah. You mean with like
with the Marvels?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that that thing out in space that Monica Rambeau touches was that her using her powers on the thing, or was that her literally touching the thing and then it?
I think it's literally just her touching it.
Okay.
Because like, I don't know. Maybe she uses her powers on it. It's not the first time she's gone up and touched a barrier. So
yeah,
maybe this is just kind of like in line with her character.
Mm-hmm. I do love that they have Kamala Khan's family in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't want to make any big proclamations before seeing another Marvel movie, because I could watch this and it be not good at all. Mm-hmm. But I think Aman Vellani as Kamala Khan is probably going to kill it, because she was like killing it in the trailer.
I agree. And
it almost made me like, I was like, her, like, the thing about the trailer is like, I almost every other character seems to almost overshadow Carol Danvers.
Agreed. Yeah. Because
and hopefully that's not the case when we get to the movie.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because I actually do like Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
So I guess I will say I was also happy to see that they, at least in the beginning, they'll have their original costumes. Like Kamala Khan will have hers that she had in Miss Marvel.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of the new one they have for this movie. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you saw all three of them standing together, like with all their new outfits.
What's different about hers?
Hers is, I would say, it's got more detail and the colors are like a little different. And I just don't think it looks as clean like as the Miss Marvel show suit. And same with the new Captain Marvel suit. I'm not a huge fan of that. But I think it's kind of like more like it's more like the comic version of Captain Marvel. So I think it's gonna probably appease some fans there.
Let me see.
I think the only one I was kind of a fan of was Photons, which was Monica Rambeau's. It's this shot here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can't say I'm the biggest fan.
Yeah, it's a lot more. It has a lot more going on, and I agree. I'm not crazy about it. I do kind of like the Captain Marvel one though.
Do you? Yeah,
I do.
It's just like the logos. I feel like it's gigantic, and maybe the colors are a little darker than it usually is, but
yeah, I agree with the Miss Marvel one. That one's kind of a bit like really flashy.
Yeah,
I kind of prefer the older one, but
agreed.
Whatever.
Yeah, it'll probably be like a space suit, so that's how they'll explain it or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think good first start. maybe for the trailer.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
It's a lot more, like I said, lighthearted than I thought it was going to be.
It's I'm assuming that's kind of bumming you out.
No.
Okay.
It's
So
just different.
It's just different. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is the time we're going to go into our spoiler review of the Mandalorian season 3, episode 7. We are starting and ending with Mandalorian and Star Wars news today. So hope you like the Star Wars podcast. But yeah, so episode 7 spoiler review. I think for the most part, this was another strong episode for the Mandalorian. I absolutely love the beginning of it, where we get to see Elia Kane reporting to Moff Gideon in the alleys of Coruscant, and then we cut to him and he's talking to the Shadow Council, and it's what I wanted for like the longest time, for us to get like some real planning and answers. And we even got mention of like a Thrawn in the Shadow Council room.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really well done scene. It almost reminded me of like the Akatsuki like scene in Naruto. I don't know if you haven't seen that show, but just like them gathering and like discussing their menacing plans is just like, it's a great part of the Akatsuki in Naruto.
Yeah, no, yeah. I really enjoyed the beginning too. I love that the probe droid. First of all, it's huge.
It's gigantic. Yeah.
I totally forgot how big those fucking things are.
Yeah.
But I love all of that. Underbelly, like underworkings, all of that.
Yeah.
We also, I don't know if you picked up, but the main commandant guy that Moff Gideon was talking to,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it might not be his dad, but I'm gonna assume it's his dad.
Whose dad?
Hux's from the First Order.
Oh, really? Why would you say that?
Because his name is Commandant Hux, like that.
Oh,
and he's ginger, like he's redhead.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's very cool. Wow. Okay.
So yeah. So he's, and even his first name is like it starts with a B.
Yeah.
And it sounded a lot like Brendan Gleeson.
Cool.
So
cool.
yeah, it's
gotta
a
be
clear
him.
nod to that character, and that this is clearly going into First Order. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of it was discussing, their plans on like to disguise themselves as like a non-organized group, and that they've been like amassing a fleet, a couple of them, and yeah, so
they're all waiting on Thrawn to return,
right? And so Moff Gideon is like, hey, we might need new leadership if we don't even know like where this guy is. So it was a lot of cool dialogue and drama and cool plans that we didn't really know were in the works. And yeah, I guess I've been
more
wanting
cloning stuff.
Right. I've been wanting this Imperial Remnant thread to be a lot stronger. And I think this is like a really great start to that, like the beginning of a really strong Empire presence.
Yeah.
Now I think what's interesting, I guess, is that like I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I am not a fan of like episode 9 at all. And so you would think like I wouldn't be a fan of them teasing the First Order. But I really do like episode 8, and I'm okay with episode 7. So like the First Order existing and something else coming into power after like the Empire was defeated, I don't mind at all. Like I think like all the lore there before episode 9 is really well done, or at least well done.
I'll say I will disagree, but my thinking is that a lot of people have told me that the way that Star Wars works is they introduce something and we're like, why the fuck did that happen?
Right.
And this is because this is clear from like Clone War, like from the prequel series and now with Rebels and blah, 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 that they just like then with other
Right. They'll explain it later
they'll
down the line.
explain it later,
Right.
which I don't like, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think that all of this going up to like the First Order, I feel like it could be like, this is a good way to take the bitter taste out of my mouth of
Right.
like, how did we have all these characters be so incompetent to let a literal other,
Right.
basically empire rise up
Empire
again in such
2.0.
a short amount of time?
Right. But I like that we're like really getting to see how it started,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I do, it makes things, it does make things a bit better.
Yeah, it does.
But it's still frustrating that we had to get that
we had to wait so long to like see this group who like is organizing the return of the First Order, or like the takeover.
But even like that we
Right.
had this presence, like that. I think I'm just frustrated that there
Oh, you're
was a
saying,
First
like-
Order to begin with.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I mean, I would agree.
But like, I'm cool with like now having this story about
Right.
like showing the New Republic as being like just ineffectual.
Yeah.
And
No, I
having,
I was gonna say that. I was like, I really enjoy now that like we got to see throughout the season, like the New Republic kind of becoming this like system of like bad checks and balances almost, where like they can't send like troops out to a planet that needs their help, or they're throwing away old like Empire technology, or
Right.
yeah, they're brainwashing certain people who aren't like falling in line.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just I want, hopefully with the Ahsoka series, because Mon Mothma's in that,
right.
I'll be able, like, maybe they'll show more about
Like why the New Republic is doing certain things.
Yeah,
Or-
like why does it seem so like ineffectual? And
right.
because she's like one of the big
The
key
leaders,
figures of
right.
the rebellion to
Yeah.
like get us back to this point of not having an empire anymore. I'd be like, so
it's kind of so yeah, you could say it's like upsetting to see like the heroes who you followed in the first 3 movies turn out to be bad leaders, I guess.
exactly,
but,
like
yeah.
it's like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
So it's
Sure,
just, but
yeah.
whatever. Like,
Like that's
we're-
why I'm not faulting anyone who wants to just ignore everything after episode 6. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I really do. But
Yeah.
if you still want more Star Wars lore, then this is it. But yeah, I guess kind of back to the episode here. We get a big plot about the Mandalorians finally landing on Mandalore and like retaking it.
yeah,
And for the most part, it's like a pretty well done conflict and joining of groups. I think where it really gets strong again for me is the ending of this episode, where we get a true like a swarm of new kind of like stormtroopers with Beskar armor on and jetpacks, and the Mandalorians struggle to fight them. They take them all. Well, they take most of them out, and then
they take
the ones that are there out, and then
the Mandalorians.
Right, but then they go into they follow Moff Gideon, or they follow like the thread there, and they're like led into a bay where it looks like the Empire has, or the Imperial Remnant has fully like taken over this like the Great Forge
Right.
of Mandalore, and they have like a whole bay of ships and troopers, and Moff Gideon is there, and he set a trap, and it's like I love seeing that, where like I think it was so necessary for us to see them like fall back a little, for us to see them struggle and lose, because it just, I don't know, it was just becoming a boring story to me, and with some conflict, like I needed it, and
Yeah.
and like
yeah,
and I'm so happy it's the Imperial Remnant conflict, because like
yeah.
I think it's the most interesting one you can have. I will say though, I'm bummed that the Beskar alloy that the guy found on like when they broke out Moff Gideon,
Yeah.
I'm bummed that was only because like his own troopers broke him out, and not because like some rogue Mandalorian did.
I want to agree with you.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
We don't know,
yet.
but I feel like it's pretty implied that if he has his own troops with with Mandalorian armor.
I mean, I think I wouldn't necessarily bet against you. It's just until I see the next episode or whatever.
Sure, like nothing's off the table.
Nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. Like I think that we did need conflict. That's really like quite, observant to like, because I was like, you're right. Like there hasn't really been conflict, has there?
Yeah,
like most of this
there's been
show,
like a couple
season.
of characters who like go rogue in an episode. Yeah, but that's it.
Even like the conflict that I thought that there was going to be between Din and Bo-Katan
there was none.
There wasn't, and that was extremely unsatisfying.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, the thing is, the only thing, like I agree, like I like the ending. I like that it all ties up with like Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
That they're now it's like the Mandalorians versus his troops.
Right.
The only issue that I have, and like it ties into like the old westerns of having like the bad guy, the same bad guy who's like they have to fight against. It's just a bummer that like all the exciting parts of this season end up with fucking
Bo-Katan,
Moff Gideon.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, I mentioned Bo-Katan because she was the one who mainly dealt with Moff Gideon there. I know they have history, but so do him and Din. And I feel like I will also like this whole episode was still and I like it was still mostly Bo-Katan. Like all the important beats. Yeah.
It's just I like it. It's just I'm just bummed that like the cool part of this whole season has just again become like Moff Gideon doing something cool.
Sure.
And like there's a conflict with that. Like it's the same shit that happened last season. It's the same shit that happened the season before. It all culminates where you see him in episode 7 and then he gets beat in episode 8. And maybe this time around, it'll not be he gets beat, but I'm assuming he will.
Because literally, you're right. In seasons 1 and 2, he shows up again in episodes 7 and 8, and he gets taken down in episode 8 each time.
And I'm not going to complain. Like, I think 7 and 8 of each season always turns out to be
really good,
super great. I mean, but here's the thing. Who died in season 7 like of this not season 7, who died in episode 7 of season 1? Queel did.
Who?
Right? Queel.
Oh, okay.
He died. Now you have Paz Vizsla dying. It's just a bit.
It's just a bit too much of
predictable,
the same. Right?
And like I thought it was cool to see them kill off a character, and like I think Paz Vizsla is a great character, and I didn't want to see him die, but I'm just like bummed that it's just I don't know. It's just it all has to end up here like it always does, and we didn't really. I don't feel like we got a strong journey throughout most of the season to get to this point. Is all.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the journey here has been rough, but I'm glad we're finally here.
Yeah,
It's but like I also
because it would have been so much cooler to have all this built up conflict and then it gets resolved finally with Bo and Din, but we didn't. And
now Bo is, I don't know. I didn't get to mention this earlier, but the director, Rick Fuyama, or is that how you pronounce his name?
I don't know.
Okay. He's also a producer on this season. And I have the quote. It's a long one, but basically he says that through the season, they are looking at it more now as like Din doesn't have to be the main character, and that the title of the show could be about, it's the Mandalorian. It could be about any Mandalorian.
Sure. I don't like that.
And so I was like, wow, you literally just confirmed that like Din is truly not the main character of this season. Like it's I don't know. It's just the fact that they're aware of it is bumming me out too, because it's like it's a conscious choice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to think that I like I'm against Bo-Katan.
No, I
It's
like
just-
Bo-Katan.
I like her.
Right, but I don't think she needs to be the main character of the show.
It's just we followed Din for 2 seasons.
2.5 with Boba Fett.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just, that's what I was, I wanted that. And
Yeah.
like here's the thing.
And now it's
like,
not.
it's like, what if you watched a season of The Sopranos and then for like a whole season, you just focused on, Christopher.
I mean, yeah.
Or you
sure.
focused on
Yeah.
like Polly.
Right.
And
You'd
it's
be
like I like
okay,
Polly,
yeah.
but like I
He's
came
not the
here
main
for
character.
Tony.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I feel
Like
you.
it's cool when we got the one episode where it was Polly and Christopher
Chris,
like
right.
out in the woods.
Uh-huh.
But we still got some Tony stuff going on. Like it's just like
Yeah.
this is weird television.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah,
it's the same thing with
definitely
like
not normal.
Book of Boba Fett. I was like, oh yeah, we'll just have 2 Din episodes.
And no episodes where the main character, and 2 episodes where the main character has no lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think they,
and how's that?
right.
And that excuse is like, what excuse is there? Because you're like, it's not the
excuse-
Mandalorian,
right.
It's like the Book of Boba Fett.
yeah. So there's
there's
zero excuse for that. Yeah. But,
I mean, I this is definitely like a super strong episode. I think everything was done particularly well
Yeah, I
for the
would
most
agree.
part.
right. I think this is my favorite episode of the season. I would say.
Yeah, it might be mine too.
Like, I think it's like, I even kind of liked last week's episode, and I think it's a lot better than last week's.
It's a lot better than last week's. Yeah, it might be my favorite. Either that or 4.
Was that the one with Elia Kane? Or
No, 4 was when the pirates showed up with the big ship.
that was 4 was the child one. 6 was the pirates, I think. Wasn't that last episode?
No, the last episode was like.
So that was 5 then.
Sure,
was-
yeah.
was
Sorry,
pirates.
5.
Yeah.
5 was my favorite.
Cool.
Well, it's either this one or 5. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe 3 is a good contender, but like even in this episode, they still didn't explain why they had to do that to Pershing.
Oh, right. They might have, and I just
I mean, basically, he was
Looked
like, what's the progress? And he was like, oh, well, he was captured by New Republic people, and for the time being, we've lost his research. And I was like, okay,
I guess like the thing is that she just didn't want him to talk.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our review this week on Mandalorian episode 7. We're thinking it'll be a pretty great finale, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, this is part of the podcast where we talk about stuff we watched this week. I don't know if you got to watch anything.
Yeah. So I actually have been watching something for the past couple of weeks. I just keep forgetting that I've been
you were, like, watching it?
it.
Yeah.
That I should mention it. So Succession is back.
Right.
And man, I wish you could watch it right now because
It's that good. Huh?
they had one of the biggest I feel like now with what they've done, this whole show might be one of the greatest shows of all time.
Whoa. Okay, that's huge.
I mean, they did such a big what the fuck moment
Mhm.
in only like episode 3. That's
Is this the final season?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so significant. It's really ballsy. And so I'm very excited to see how they're gonna
Sick.
finish it.
Now, I've only seen the first episode, by the way.
Okay.
So I guess don't spoil too much if you.
No,
Yeah.
I won't. It's just Succession's just fantastic.
Nice.
It's just I was really surprised how that because basically a wedding's happening.
Okay.
And I didn't think too much of it. But within like the first 15 minutes, something very significant starts to happen.
Okay.
And you're like,
Oh
oh
shit.
wow, oh, is this actually happening? And it did. And you're like,
Wow.
oh. So I'll say that's been great. And then I started watching Superman and Lois.
Oh wow. I actually do want to watch that. How was
And
it?
yeah, it's pretty incredible.
No way. That's great.
Yeah, it's
okay.
honestly, it's for a CW show. Like it.
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't-
everyone says it doesn't feel like a CW
It's not
show.
a CW show.
Yeah.
It's like has actual like pathos and emotion
Wow.
and like really good Superman action.
That's great.
It's pretty like like I was pretty shocked. I mean, the first 45 minutes, it's like really, really great. They get some stuff at the end that's kind of CW-ish,
Mhm.
but whatever.
Sure. It'll seep in somehow.
But I mean, yeah, especially like the first 15 minutes are like extremely emotional, and you're like, wow,
Nice.
I was not expecting it to be this good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't have anything else,
that's it.
I've just been continuing Perry Mason on HBO, the first season. I mean, the same thing as last week. It's been pretty great. I've got no complaints so far. I mean, I might have even more praise for John Lithgow, because he had a couple of great episodes there that are just super emotional, and yeah, really great acting from him. The only other thing I've been watching as well is I've not caught back up, but started watching again Better Call Saul, the last season.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've now gotten to, I think, through episode 7 of Better Call Saul season 6.
And how many episodes are there? Like 15?
I think there's 13.
13.
Yeah, so I'm halfway through. Damn. I mean, this season, man, holy shit. Like it's so heavy, and there's just so much that's surprising me.
Is it, would you say, like on the same level as Breaking Bad? Now that you've, because everybody keeps saying that,
I would say
or better.
This season might be.
Huh.
I don't think like I really like seasons 1 through 3. I think it's like a completely different show from Breaking Bad, but I think it's like it's got its own identity, and I think it's like it's beautiful. I think 4 and 5, like they're really good still. They fall off like just a tad bit for me, but like 6 comes back around, and like this has more of a vibe of like, yeah, this is Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm feeling it.
And this is the last season.
The last season,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
I think it drops on Netflix really soon.
Wish I had it. It's too expensive.
Yeah. It's $15-$16 a month.
I'll do like a trial or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I also have it on.
No, it's like $20.
$20 for Netflix?
Yes. To like get the HD, to not watch things in
Jeez.
fucking 720p.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, if you ever want to borrow my Vudu account, I bought the season on Vudu.
Oh, okay.
So,
cool.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Both really great shows.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for listening to our podcast today. We are at Last Week This Week on our social medias if you want to check us out there on Instagram and TikTok. We're also on YouTube at Last Week This Week if you want to check out our reviews and shorts, and our longer podcasts are uploaded there as well. Our shorts are also on TikTok and Instagram as Reels. And if you want to leave us a comment, a rating, if you liked what you heard today and you want to support us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yep. We're still waiting on a rating.
Well, I will say, people like I was told by a friend that they reviewed it and it just hasn't showed up.
Oh.
So I think we might be getting reviews. We just have to get a certain amount of reviews
That's
for it to show up.
Okay. All right. Well,
so yes,
maybe
I guess
send
that
us
offer,
even give
right.
us a review so we can have our first review.
Yeah, so we can keep showing up or show up at one point.
And we will take a picture. We will put it on our Instagram and we will frame it.
Absolutely.
So if you want to be the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure the dates will show up on the review.
Yeah.
Maybe. So
hopefully. But
yeah.
yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
And until next time.